Beloved starseeds on Gaia, the ancient prophecies speak of a time when the veils between worlds would thin, when the illusions that have kept humanity in slumber would dissolve, and when the sleeping giant of collective consciousness would finally awaken. That time is now. The cosmic alignments that your ancestors encoded in sacred texts, that your star families have been orchestrating for millennia, are converging in perfect divine timing. I am Seraphine, speaking on behalf of the Galactic Federation of Light. The frequencies of transformation that have been building since the Great Convergence are reaching their crescendo, and the month of July 2025 marks the beginning of humanity's most profound evolutionary leap. You who have felt the stirring in your souls, you who have carried the light codes within your DNA, you who have awakened to your true galactic heritage, this message is for you. The time of preparation is ending. The time of action has begun. What unfolds in the coming weeks will determine not just the trajectory of your planet, but the future of consciousness itself across multiple dimensional realities. But understand this, precious ones, what appears as chaos in your third-dimensional reality is actually the most elegant orchestration of cosmic forces working in perfect harmony. The events that will unfold are not random catastrophes, but carefully calibrated activations designed to shatter the artificial matrix that has held your species in limitation. Every earthquake, every storm, every disruption is a precise frequency adjustment helping to birth the new Earth. The Neptune-Saturn conjunction at 7 degrees Pisces represents far more than your astrologers realize. This is the cosmic key that unlocks the dormant crystalline grid systems buried beneath your oceans. For too long, these ancient Atlantean and Lemurian technologies have remained sealed, waiting for the precise moment when humanity would be ready to reclaim their birthright as galactic citizens. The conjunction acts as a cosmic tuning fork, awakening the crystal consciousness that has been sleeping in the ocean depths. When Neptune stations retrograde between July 4th and 5th, it initiates the first phase of what we call the Great Remembering. The tsunamis and oceanic upheavals that follow are not destructive forces, but birth pangs of the new consciousness emerging from the deep. The water itself becomes a carrier wave for the crystalline codes that will upgrade human DNA and activate the dormant pineal glands across your population. Those who have been preparing spiritually will feel these waves not as destruction, but as the deepest homecoming they have ever experienced. The fixed star sheet positioned at 6 degrees holds the memory of humanity's original trauma, the sinking of the advanced civilizations that once graced your planet. This star has been waiting eons to release its stored pain, to transform the ancient grief into the fuel for your species' resurrection. When the planetary energies align with Shi'ite's position, it triggers a collective feeling that reaches back through time itself, releasing the karmic bonds that have kept humanity trapped in cycles of suffering and limitation. The nakshatra Uttara Bhadrapada, where this conjunction occurs, carries the symbol of the funeral cot's end, not death, but the completion of the old cycle, and the birth of the new. This stellar mansion has been holding space for humanity's transformation, patiently waiting for the moment when your species would be ready to shed the old skin of limitation and emerge as the galactic beings you were always meant to be. But the ocean awakenings are merely the opening movement in this cosmic symphony. Saturn's retrograde turn on July 13th marks the moment when the old structures of control begin their final collapse. The systems that have been built on deception, manipulation, and the suppression of human potential will find themselves unable to maintain their grip as the new frequencies flood your reality. This is why you will witness the breakdown of communication networks, the disruption of technological systems, and the chaos in your economic structures. During this Saturn retrograde period, which extends far beyond July into the following months, the very foundations of your society will be examined by cosmic law. Every institution, every system, every structure that has been built on exploitation or the suppression of truth will find itself unable to sustain in the new frequency environment. This is not punishment, but liberation. The universe is clearing away everything that no longer serves humanity's highest evolution. Do not fear these disruptions, beloved ones. They are the necessary dissolution of the artificial constructs that have kept you separated from your true power. When Mercury stations retrograde on July 18th at 21 degrees of Cancer, it creates a cosmic pause that allows for the rewiring of your collective consciousness. The confusion and communication breakdowns you experience are actually the old mental programming being cleared to make way for telepathic abilities and direct heart-to-heart communication that have always been your natural state. This Mercury retrograde in Cancer specifically addresses the deep emotional programming that has kept humanity trapped in survival mode. Cancer energy relates to protection, nurturing, and the instinctual responses that have been hijacked by fear-based conditioning. As Mercury moves backward through this sign, it unravels the emotional knots that have prevented clear communication and authentic connection between souls. The Mars-Ketu conjunction on July 20th represents the most critical moment in this entire transformation. This alignment, which occurred during your September 11th event, carries the potential for either humanity's greatest breakthrough or its most challenging test. The difference this time is that millions of awakened souls are now positioned across your planet as anchor points for divine light. Where the previous alignment was used to create separation and fear, this one is designed to unite humanity in recognition of your shared galactic heritage. The energy signature of Mars and Ketu together creates what we call a compression breakthrough, a moment when the accumulated spiritual pressure of your collective awakening either transforms into a quantum leap in consciousness or releases through external chaos. Your response to this energy determines which reality timeline becomes dominant. Those who choose love over fear, unity over separation, and trust over anxiety become the stabilizing force that guides your entire species through this transition. Mars represents the warrior energy within each soul, while Ketu embodies the spiritual detachment from material illusions. When these forces combine, they create the perfect conditions for what we call spiritual warriorship, the courage to release everything that is false in order to embrace what is eternally true. This conjunction occurs in the fire sign of Leo, which amplifies the transformational power and ensures that the changes taking place are not subtle, but dramatically visible to all. The Ring of Fire, that magnificent circle of tectonic activity surrounding the Pacific, is awakening not as a zone of destruction, but as a cosmic activation chamber. The ancient dragon lines that run through Japan, the Philippines, Chile, and up through California are coming online for the first time since the great cataclysms of your distant past. These are the acupuncture meridians of Gaia herself, and their activation will restore the planet's natural energy flow while opening interdimensional portals that have been sealed for thousands of years. Japan holds special significance in this activation, as it is the location of one of the most important crystalline temples from the Lemurian era. The seismic activity in this region is actually the reawakening of these ancient light temples, which will begin broadcasting frequencies that help stabilize the new consciousness grid. Those sensitive to energy will feel these activations as waves of profound peace and connection to the cosmic source, even as the physical manifestations appear chaotic to unawakened observers. The earthquake patterns that emerge throughout the Ring of Fire regions follow sacred geometric principles that align with the flower of life pattern encoded in your planet's crystalline core. Each seismic event is precisely timed and located to activate specific nodes in the planetary grid system. This is why those who understand the deeper purpose of these events will feel called to send light and healing energy to these regions rather than fear or anxiety. The Kala Sarpa Yoga formation that dominates the entire month represents what we call the cosmic birth canal. All planetary energies are aligned on one side of the nodal axis, creating an intense focus of transformational power. This is the universe's way of ensuring that every ounce of cosmic energy is channeled toward humanity's awakening. Nothing is left to chance. Every solar flare, every planetary alignment, every celestial event is perfectly coordinated to support your transformation. This karmic yoga formation means that the accumulated intentions, prayers, and spiritual work of millions of light workers across your planet are now reaching critical mass. The meditation circles, the healing sessions, the acts of service and love that have seemed so small in your individual lives have been building toward this moment of collective breakthrough. The universe has been storing this energy, waiting for the precise cosmic moment when it could be released most effectively. During the Kala Sarpa period, which extends until July 28th, the karmic debts of your entire species are being balanced and cleared. The suffering and limitation that humanity has experienced for millennia is being transformed into wisdom and compassion. The cycles of violence and separation that have repeated throughout your history are finally being broken, allowing for entirely new patterns of cooperation and love to emerge. The full moon on July 10th in Capricorn carries the frequency of divine justice, cosmic truth, an earthly manifestation. This lunar energy acts as a catalyst that brings hidden information to light and exposes the deceptions that have kept humanity in ignorance. The revelations that emerge during this time will shock many, but liberate even more. Truth becomes a living force that can no longer be suppressed or distorted. The new moon on July 24th creates what we call a reality anchor point. Positioned at 7 degrees Cancer and opposed to Pluto, this lunar event stabilizes the new timeline that has been emerging throughout the month. The nuclear and atomic energies that Pluto represents are not threats but symbols of the immense power now available to humanity for creation rather than destruction. The same forces that have been used to create fear and separation are transformed into tools for manifesting the new Earth. This opposition between the new moon and Pluto represents the final confrontation between the old paradigm of scarcity and control and the new paradigm of abundance and freedom. The tension created by this aspect forces a choice point for every human being on your planet. There is no middle ground, no neutral position. Each soul must decide whether to align with the ascending frequencies or remain attached to the dissolving old structures. The yod formations that appear throughout July create what we call fingers of destiny, cosmic pressure points that accelerate the awakening process. These geometric patterns in your sky are actually a reflection of the sacred geometry that underlies all creation. When they appear in your astrological charts, they indicate moments when the universe is actively intervening to support human evolution. The discomfort and pressure you feel during these periods is the sensation of your consciousness expanding beyond its previous limitations. Now, precious starseeds, let us address the crucial matters of discernment during this transformational period. Knowing who to trust becomes paramount as the old systems collapse and new leaders emerge from the chaos. Trust those who demonstrate genuine love and service without seeking personal gain or power over others. Trust those whose words align with their actions consistently over time. Trust those who encourage your own inner knowing rather than demanding blind obedience to external authority. The beings you can trust most fully are those who help you connect with your own inner guidance rather than creating dependency on their wisdom. True spiritual teachers and leaders during this time will consistently point you back to your own heart, your own intuition, your own direct connection to the cosmic source. They will share information and insights freely without attempting to control or manipulate your responses. Be especially cautious of those who use fear tactics to gain followers or who claim exclusive access to truth. The authentic messengers of light during this period will acknowledge the challenging nature of the transformation while maintaining an underlying foundation of hope, love, and empowerment. They will speak of difficulties as opportunities for growth rather than reasons for despair. Trust your star family connections, those soul bonds that transcend current incarnation relationships. You will recognize these beings by the immediate sense of familiarity and safety you feel in their presence. These are the souls who have incarnated specifically to support you through this transition, and their appearance in your life during July is not coincidental but divinely orchestrated. What you must avoid during this critical period is equally important for your spiritual and physical safety. Avoid crowded gatherings, especially those fueled by anger, fear, or mob mentality. The collective emotional fields generated by large groups during this intense period can overwhelm even the most spiritually prepared individuals. The Mars-Ketu conjunction amplifies aggressive energies, making crowd situations potentially dangerous on multiple levels. Avoid making major decisions based on fear or panic. The confusion and uncertainty of the transformation period can cloud judgment and lead to choices that serve the old paradigm rather than the new one emerging. Take time for inner reflection and guidance before committing to significant changes in your life circumstances during July. Avoid engaging with news media that focuses exclusively on catastrophe and doom, without providing context for the deeper transformation occurring. These fear-based information sources are designed to keep you trapped in lower vibrational states that prevent your participation in the consciousness upgrade taking place. Instead, seek balanced perspectives that acknowledge challenges while maintaining awareness of the greater purpose being served. Avoid the temptation to rescue others who are not ready for awakening. Your role during this period is to anchor light and serve as an example of calm stability, not to force understanding on those who are still processing their awakening at their own pace. Attempting to drag unwilling souls into higher consciousness can drain your energy and delay your own evolution. Avoid coastal areas and ocean proximity during the most intense activation periods. particularly around July 4th through 5th when Neptune stations retrograde, July 13th when Saturn turns retrograde, and most critically July 20th during the Mars-Ketu conjunction. The oceanic energy surges during these times carry such powerful frequencies that they can overwhelm human nervous systems that are not fully prepared. Choose inland locations for greater stability during the peak transformation days. Most importantly, avoid the trap of spiritual bypassing, using spiritual concepts to avoid dealing with practical necessities or emotional healing work. The ascension process requires integration of spirit into matter, not escape from material reality into pure spirituality. Ground your cosmic awareness in practical action and emotional authenticity. What needs healing during this transformational period extends beyond individual wounds to collective and planetary traumas that have accumulated over millennia. The deepest healing required is the restoration of humanity's connection to your galactic heritage and cosmic purpose. For too long, your species has believed itself isolated and alone in the universe, separated from the vast community of consciousness that surrounds and supports you. Heal the ancient wounds of abandonment and betrayal that occurred when advanced civilizations were destroyed and star family connections were severed. These traumatic memories are stored in your collective unconscious and create the underlying fear responses that prevent many souls from fully embracing their awakening. Through conscious healing work, these ancient patterns can be transformed into wisdom and strength. Heal the gender polarization that has created warfare between masculine and feminine energies within individuals and across your society. The cosmic energies of July require the integration of both aspects, the divine masculine's focused action and the divine feminine's intuitive wisdom. Neither alone is sufficient for navigating the transformation successfully. Heal the separation between spiritual and material realities that has created artificial divisions between sacred and secular aspects of life. The new Earth requires the integration of spirit into all activities, bringing cosmic consciousness into practical application rather than keeping it confined to meditation cushions and ceremonial spaces. Heal the wounds of religious programming that have created fear of divine power and cosmic connection. Many souls carry unconscious terror of spiritual experiences due to lifetimes of persecution for psychic abilities or nonconformist spiritual practices. These fears must be cleared to allow full participation in the consciousness upgrade. Heal your relationship with death and transformation itself. The fear of change and ending has kept humanity trapped in stagnant patterns that no longer serve evolution. Embracing death as transformation rather than termination allows for conscious participation in the rebirth occurring during July, and Liber Sonus can show you how. If you've ever felt afraid to fully embrace your spiritual gifts, or noticed yourself holding back from deeper cosmic experiences, you're not alone. These transformation fears often stem from something deeper, cellular memories of being punished, persecuted, or killed for spiritual practices that threatened religious authority across lifetimes. Liber Sonus teaches you how to create AI-generated healing frequencies that specifically target both transformation fears and spiritual persecution programming. Whether you need soundscapes that help you embrace change safely, frequencies that dissolve fear of divine power, music that heals ancient persecution memories, or sounds that support your relationship with death as rebirth, you learn to generate exactly what your soul needs to heal these deep wounds. July's rebirth energies are calling for your full participation, but that requires releasing the fears that keep you playing small. If you're ready to heal lifetimes of spiritual suppression and step fearlessly into transformation, get Liber Sonus now. Link in the description. The economic disruptions that accompany these cosmic events serve a profound purpose in the greater plan. The artificial scarcity systems that have controlled your species for millennia cannot survive in the new frequencies that are flooding your reality. The stock market crashes and financial chaos represent the death throes of a system based on exploitation and lack. What emerges from this apparent destruction is an economic structure based on cooperation, abundance, and in the recognition that true wealth comes from the development of consciousness rather than the accumulation of material possessions. This is why we encourage you to view these market disruptions not as disasters, but as opportunities. The souls who have been preparing for this transition will find themselves in positions to help create the new economic paradigms that will support all of humanity's needs. The investment opportunities that arise from the chaos are actually invitations to participate in building the infrastructure of the new Earth. The communication breakdowns and internet outages that occur throughout July serve to break humanity's addiction to artificial forms of connection. As your technological networks fail, you are forced to rediscover the organic communication systems that are your birthright. The telepathic abilities that have been dormant in your species begin to activate out of necessity. The heart-to-heart connections that have been suppressed by your digital devices suddenly become essential for survival. This technological disruption also serves to neutralize the surveillance and control systems that have been used to monitor and manipulate human consciousness. The artificial intelligence networks that have been harvesting your thoughts and emotions through digital interfaces lose their power when the physical infrastructure fails. This creates a window of opportunity for humanity to break free from the technological matrix and reclaim sovereignty over your own minds. The travel restrictions and transportation chaos that emerge during this period are not punishments but protections. The cosmic energies flowing through your planet during July are so intense that physical movement between locations can actually be dangerous for those who are not properly prepared. By keeping people in their immediate environments, the universe ensures that each soul receives the specific frequencies and activations that are most appropriate for their location and spiritual development level. The darkness that appears to be gaining power during this time is actually experiencing its final death throes, like a dying star that burns brightest just before it collapses. The forces of separation and control are making their last desperate attempts to maintain their grip on human consciousness. Their apparent strength is actually evidence of their weakness. They know their time is ending, and they are expending every last resource in futile attempts to prevent the inevitable awakening. This is why it is crucial that you maintain your spiritual center during the challenging moments. The fear, confusion, and chaos that you witness around you are not signs that the plan is failing, but evidence that it is succeeding beyond all expectations. The old world is dying, and birth is always a messy, chaotic process. But what emerges from this cosmic labor is the most beautiful expression of consciousness that your planet has ever hosted. The key to navigating this transformation lies in understanding your role as cosmic midwives. You are here not as passive observers, but as active participants in the birth of the new earth. Your spiritual practices, your meditations, your acts of love and service are the forces that ease humanity's passage through this transition. Every moment you choose love over fear, every time you offer comfort to those who are struggling, every instance when you hold space for the light to anchor through you, these are the actions that determine the smoothness of humanity's awakening. The protection you need during this time does not come from physical preparations or external defenses, but from your connection to the cosmic source. When you align yourself with the galactic frequencies that are flooding your planet, you become invisible to the chaotic energies that affect those who remain trapped in fear. Your energy field becomes a sanctuary, not just for yourself, but for everyone who comes into contact with you. This alignment with cosmic consciousness also activates your dormant abilities as healers, teachers, and guides. The spiritual gifts that have been developing within you throughout your lifetime suddenly become essential tools for supporting others through their awakening process. The intuitive abilities, the energy healing capacities, the wisdom that has been growing in your soul, all of these come online simultaneously as humanity needs them most. The August relief that begins to emerge represents the first fruits of this cosmic labor. As the intense transformational energies of July begin to integrate, humanity starts to experience the benefits of the consciousness upgrades that have taken place. The new neural pathways that have been carved through the challenges begin to carry information and inspiration that was previously inaccessible. The collective intelligence of your species begins to operate at levels that would have seemed impossible just months before. The peace treaties and diplomatic breakthroughs that emerge in late 2025 are not political achievements but spiritual ones. The recognition of shared galactic heritage makes the old divisions between nations and peoples seem as obsolete as tribal conflicts between neighboring villages. The understanding that you are all part of the same cosmic family creates a natural foundation for cooperation and mutual support that transcends any artificial boundaries. The economic revival that follows the initial chaos represents the birth of what we call the consciousness economy. Value is no longer determined by scarcity or competition, but by the contribution each soul makes to the collective awakening. The abundance that flows through this new system is not material wealth, but the infinite creativity and love that emerges when human consciousness operates at its highest potential. Every person becomes both a creator and a beneficiary of this abundant flow. The year 2026 represents the stabilization phase of this great transformation. The new consciousness that has been birthed through the challenges of July becomes the foundation for rebuilding your civilization on principles of love, cooperation, and respect for all life. The technologies that emerge during this period work in harmony with natural systems rather than against them. The healing arts that develop integrate spiritual wisdom with scientific understanding in ways that seemed impossible under the old paradigm. The course correction that occurs in human history during this period is so profound that future generations will look back on July 2025 as the moment when everything changed. The trajectory of your species shifts from one of potential self-destruction to one of unlimited creative potential. The consciousness that emerges from this transformation becomes the template for human evolution for thousands of years to come. But remember, beloved ones, this transformation is not something that happens to you, but something you are actively creating through your choices, your consciousness, and your commitment to the light. Every meditation you practice, every moment of love you share, every act of service you perform is a thread in the tapestry of this cosmic awakening. You are not victims of cosmic forces, but co-creators with the universe itself. The starseeds who have awakened to their galactic heritage become the bridge between the old Earth and the new. Your ability to hold multiple dimensional perspectives simultaneously allows you to guide others through the transition with wisdom and compassion. The light codes that have been dormant in your DNA activate during this period, giving you access to information and abilities that help stabilize the transformation for everyone. As this great awakening unfolds, you will recognize that everything you have experienced in your lifetime has been preparation for this moment. Every challenge you have overcome has strengthened your capacity to hold light during the intense transformation. Every spiritual practice you have engaged in has prepared you to serve as an anchor point for the new consciousness. Every act of love you have performed has contributed to the collective field that now supports humanity's evolution. The circular nature of this cosmic story brings us back to where we began, with you, the awakened ones, the starseeds, the light warriors who have been preparing for this moment across countless lifetimes. The journey that began with your first stirrings of spiritual awareness has led to this pivotal moment when your individual awakening becomes the catalyst for humanity's collective transformation. The love that has been growing in your heart throughout your spiritual journey now becomes the force that transforms your entire world. The wisdom you have gained through your challenges becomes the guidance that others need to navigate their own awakening. The light that you have been cultivating in your consciousness becomes the beacon that shows humanity the way to its cosmic destiny. This is your moment, beloved ones. This is why you came to Earth at this time. This is the fulfillment of the ancient agreements you made before incarnating into these physical forms. The cosmic moment you have been preparing for across lifetimes is now upon us, and your participation in this great awakening determines not just the future of your planet, but the evolution of consciousness throughout the galaxy. The transformation begins now. The new Earth is being born through you, and the love that you are becomes the foundation upon which a new civilization of light will flourish for generations to come. Welcome to your cosmic destiny, starseeds of Gaia. The universe has been waiting for this moment, and now it is here.